Elara was the soul of the village, a woman whose kindness warmed hearts and whose beauty turned heads. Her laughter was like a melody that lifted spirits, and her generosity knew no bounds. Yet, one day, she made a choice that left the entire village in stunned silence. Elara decided to embrace every eligible man in Luminara before settling down in marriage. What could drive such a beloved woman to take a path so unorthodox, so unexpected? Was it a defiance of tradition, or was there a profound reason hidden beneath her actions? The villagers whispered and wondered, their curiosity growing with each passing day. Unbeknownst to them, Elara was bound by a mysterious tradition and a hidden purpose that would soon come to light, a purpose that would change the fate of Luminara forever. Her journey was not just about love or marriage, it was about uniting hearts and healing a community on the brink of darkness. Join us as we delve into Elara's captivating story, uncovering the secrets behind her bold decision. Discover how one woman's courage and compassion could transform an entire village and leave a legacy that would be remembered for generations. As the seasons changed, an unsettling quiet settled over the village of Luminara. The vibrant fields that once overflowed with golden wheat began to yield only sparse crops. Farmers stood puzzled as healthy plants withered overnight, and the fruit trees bore no harvest. The villagers whispered among themselves, worry etching lines on their faces. Even more disturbing was the sight of livestock falling ill without cause, and the cheerful songs of birds growing silent. But the most alarming sign came from the heart of the village, the eternal flame. This sacred fire had burned brightly for generations, symbolizing hope and unity. Now, its once steady glow flickered unpredictably, casting long, wavering shadows that stirred unease among the people. Elara, as the guardian of the eternal flame, felt a deep responsibility for these ominous changes. Determined to find answers, Elara decided to seek the wisdom of Seraphine, the blind seer who dwelled atop Mystic Mountain. Few dared to climb its steep, winding paths, but Elara's resolve was firm. At dawn, she set out on the arduous journey, her footsteps echoing in the silent woods. The air grew thinner as she ascended, and the forest gave way to rocky slopes shrouded in mist. Reaching the summit, Elara found Seraphine seated outside a simple stone cottage, her sightless eyes gazing into the distance. Despite her blindness, Seraphine seemed to sense Elara's presence. "Welcome, child," Seraphine said softly. "I have been expecting you." Elara poured out her heart, describing the failing crops, the sick animals, and the faltering eternal flame. "The village is in despair," she said. "I fear a great darkness is approaching." Seraphine nodded slowly. "The signs are clear. The balance of Luminara has been disrupted. How can we restore it?" Elara asked urgently. "Tell me what I must do." The seer reached out and gently grasped Elara's hands. Only through uniting the hearts of all can the flame be rekindled, and the darkness kept at bay. Elara frowned in confusion. Uniting the hearts of all? What does that mean? "You must form a genuine connection with every man in the village," Seraphine explained. "By bridging divides and fostering understanding, you can restore harmony to Luminara." Elara's eyes widened. "But how can I accomplish such a task? It goes against our customs and traditions." "Sometimes, traditions must evolve," Seraphine replied. "The well-being of the village depends on your courage to forge new paths. This is the way to heal the fractures that have formed among your people." A heavy silence settled between them as Elara absorbed the magnitude of the prophecy. The thought of reaching out to every man was daunting, fraught with potential misunderstanding. Yet, she felt a stirring within her, a calling she couldn't ignore. "I will do it," she said firmly. "For the sake of Luminara, I will find a way to unite our village." Seraphine smiled gently. "Remember, Elara, true connection comes from the heart. Let empathy guide you, and you will succeed." As Elara descended Mystic Mountain, her mind raced with plans. She She understood that this journey would challenge not only her but also the deeply held beliefs of her community. But the flickering eternal flame and the troubled faces of her neighbors spurred her on. Back in Luminara, Elara prepared to embark on her mission. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to bring light back to her village. Little did she know, her actions would set in motion a series of events that would change Luminara forever. Back in Luminara, Elara stood at a crossroads. The prophecy weighed heavily on her mind, and she knew the path ahead would challenge everything she and the village held dear. Determined to restore harmony, she decided to reach out to every eligible man in the community, forging genuine connections that went beyond surface greetings. She began with Thomas, the quiet baker whose bread filled the air with comforting aromas each morning. Stopping by his shop, Elara struck up a conversation. "Your loaves are the heart of our mornings," she said warmly. "Have you ever thought about teaching others your craft?" Thomas looked up, surprised. "I hadn't considered it," he admitted. "But it might be helpful with so many mouths to feed." They discussed the idea, and Elara listened intently as Thomas opened up about his passion for baking and his hopes for the village. Their exchange left him feeling appreciated and inspired. Next, she visited Daniel, the shepherd who spent most of his days in the hills. Joining him on a walk, she admired the serene landscape. "These pastures are beautiful," she remarked. "You must know every inch of them." Daniel smiled. "I've been wandering these hills since I could walk. They hold many memories." As they walked, Elara asked about his life and dreams. Daniel shared stories he'd never told anyone, feeling a sense of understanding he hadn't expected. Word of Elara's visit spread quickly. Some villagers began to talk. "Why is she spending so much time with all the men?" a woman whispered to her friend. "It's unusual," the friend replied. "But perhaps there's a reason." Others were less judgmental. "Elara has always cared for our community," an elder noted. "Maybe she's trying to bring us closer together." Despite the murmurs, Elara pressed on. She helped Aaron, the fisherman, repair his nets, discussing ways to sustain the river's bounty. With Matthew, the village healer, she explored new remedies using local herbs. Each interaction was sincere, building trust and camaraderie. Inside, Elara wrestled with her own fears. The sideways glances and hushed conversations were hard to ignore. One evening, she confided in her close friend, Sophia. "Am I doing the right thing?" Elara asked, her eyes reflecting uncertainty. "People are starting to doubt me." Sophia placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "I see the changes you're making. Families are sharing meals, neighbors are helping one another. Don't lose heart." Encouraged, Elara continued her mission. She organized communal gatherings, where villagers shared stories and ideas. Barriers began to crumble as people discovered common ground. The village, once fragmented by unspoken tensions, started to knit together. However, there was still one man Elara hadn't reached, Laren, the reclusive woodsman who lived on the outskirts. People said he preferred solitude and was uninterested in village affairs. Determined, Elara sought him out. She found Laren chopping wood near his cabin, the forest thick and quiet around them. "Laren," she called softly. "May I speak with you?" He paused, wiping sweat from his brow. "What brings you here?" "I wanted to get to know you," she said sincerely. "You're part of our village, and your voice matters." He studied her for a moment before nodding. "Very well." They talked as the sun dipped low, Elara learning about his life in the woods and his love for nature. Laren, in turn, listened as she shared her hopes for Luminara. As they parted, he gave her a thoughtful look. "You're different from what I expected," he admitted. Elara smiled. "Sometimes, all it takes is a conversation to change perceptions." With each connection she made, Elara felt the village's spirit slowly healing. The eternal flame began to burn a bit brighter, its flicker steadier than before. The whispers about her unconventional approach started to fade, replaced by appreciation for the positive changes blossoming throughout Luminara. Elara's journey was far from over, but the foundations of unity were taking hold. By breaking boundaries and reaching out with genuine care, she was breathing new life into her beloved village, one heart at a time. As days passed, the atmosphere in Luminara began to change. The villagers, once distant and reserved, started to open up. Elara's genuine interactions had sown seeds of trust and friendship. One afternoon, she organized a community picnic by the river. Families brought homemade dishes, and laughter filled the air. Children played together while adults shared stories and ideas. Thomas, the baker, discussed starting a communal garden to help those in need. Daniel, the shepherd, offered to teach others about caring for animals. Elara watched as people who rarely spoke were now engaging warmly. Rivalries faded as neighbors found common ground. The village began to feel like a large, connected family. Even Laren, the reclusive woodsman, started attending these gatherings. Though he remained quiet, his presence signaled a shift. He listened intently, occasionally sharing insights about the forest and its gifts. One evening, as the sun set over the hills, Elara stood before the villagers. "I've seen how much we can achieve when we come together," she said. "Our strengths multiply, and our burdens lessen." Matthew, the healer, nodded. "Working with others has opened my eyes to new remedies. Together, we found cures I couldn't have discovered alone." Sophia added, "Our children are happier too. They've learned the value of friendship and cooperation." The eternal flame in the village center burned brighter each night. Its steady glow seemed to reflect the unity growing among the people. The elders remarked on how the crops appeared healthier, and the livestock were regaining strength. Elara felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The connections she fostered were not just between herself and the men but among all villagers. They were learning to support one another, breaking down walls that had stood for years. Yet, she knew there was more to do. The Festival of Light was approaching, and with it, the chance to solidify these newfound bonds. Elara was determined to ensure that the harmony they had cultivated would endure. With renewed hope, she continued her mission, believing that understanding and unity were the keys to Luminara's future. As the Festival of Light approached, a sense of anticipation mixed with uncertainty filled Luminara. The villagers had grown closer, and the eternal flame burned brighter, but Elara sensed that their journey toward unity was not yet complete. Despite their efforts, the flame still flickered occasionally, hinting at an underlying imbalance. One afternoon, Elara gathered the villagers in the central square. "We've made incredible progress," she began, her voice clear and confident. "But I believe there's one more step we need to take to fully restore harmony." An elder looked at her thoughtfully. "What more can we do?" he asked. "We've come together like never before." Elara took a deep breath. "There's someone we haven't fully reached out to, Laren, who lives on the edge of the forest. I feel his participation is essential." Murmurs spread through the crowd. "Laren keeps to himself," a farmer remarked. "He's always been distant." "Perhaps he prefers it that way," another added. Elara shook her head gently. "If we truly want to unite every heart in Luminara, we can't leave anyone behind." Determined, she set out to find Laren. The path to his secluded cottage was overgrown, reflecting how long it had been since anyone visited. When she arrived, she found him tending to a wounded deer, his touch gentle and eyes focused. "Laren," she called softly. He looked up, surprised to see her. "Elara, what brings you here?" "I believe we need your help," she said. "The village is healing, but the eternal flame isn't fully restored. I think you're the missing piece. He frowned slightly. I'm not sure how I can help. I've lived apart from the village for years. That's exactly why, Elara replied. Your knowledge of the forest and your unique perspective could be vital. Laren studied her for a moment, then nodded slowly. Very well. Let's talk. They spent hours discussing the village, the changes occurring, and the lingering issues. Laren shared insights about the land, explaining how the health of the forest was intertwined with the well-being of Luminara. The trees, the animals, the very soil, they all reflect the spirit of the people, he said. If the forest suffers, so does the village. Elara realized that while they had focused on human connections, they had overlooked their bond with nature. We need to reconnect with the world around us, she agreed. Will you help us do that? Laren smiled faintly. Yes. It's time. Together, they returned to the village. Their arrival drew curious looks, but Elara quickly addressed everyone. Laren has wisdom to share that can help us complete our journey toward unity. Laren stepped forward, his voice steady. Our village and the forest are one. To truly heal, we must honor and care for our environment as we do each other. The villagers listened intently. Plans were made to restore the natural areas around Luminara, planting trees and cleaning the river. Children and adults alike participated, finding joy in working together for a common purpose. This collaboration marked a turning point. The final barriers began to crumble, and a deeper harmony emerged, not just among the people, but between the village and the land that sustained them. The eternal flame grew steadier, its light shining brighter than ever. Elara felt a profound sense of peace. By including Laren and embracing the natural world, they had found the missing piece of their unity. The path to fully restoring Luminara was now clear. Despite the growing harmony in Luminara, Elara sensed that the village's healing was not yet complete. The eternal flame, though steadier, still flickered on occasion, hinting at an unresolved imbalance. She realized there was one person she had yet to reach, Laren, the enigmatic woodsman who lived deep within the forest. Laren was a mystery to most villagers. Rumors painted him as a recluse, a man more at home among the trees than with people. Some said he communicated with animals, others whispered that he guarded ancient secrets. Determined to include everyone in her mission of unity, Elara decided to seek him out. Setting off into the forest, Elara followed a narrow path lined with towering oaks and whispering pines. The canopy above filtered sunlight into a mosaic of shadows and light. After hours of walking, she arrived at a small clearing where a simple cabin stood beside a sparkling brook. Laren was there, carving intricate patterns into a piece of wood. "Hello, Laren," Elara called softly. He looked up, surprise flashing in his eyes. "Elara, what brings you all the way out here?" "I've come to talk," she replied. "I believe you hold insights that could help our village." He raised an eyebrow. "The village has never sought my counsel before." Elara took a step closer. "Times are changing. We need everyone's wisdom to restore balance." Laren studied her for a moment before nodding toward a log. "Very well. Have a seat." They sat by the brook, the gentle sound of flowing water creating a peaceful backdrop. Elara shared the challenges the village faced and the efforts to unite everyone. She spoke of the prophecy and her belief that his participation was essential. Laren sighed softly. "I left the village because I felt disconnected from its ways. People were so consumed by their routines that they forgot the land that sustained them. Perhaps that's why things have gone awry," Elara mused. "We've lost touch with the very world we depend on." He nodded. "The forest and the village are intertwined. When one suffers, so does the other. Will you help us restore that connection?" she asked earnestly. Laren gazed into the distance before meeting her eyes. "Yes. It's time I returned. Together, they walked back to Luminara. The villagers were surprised to see Laren but greeted him with curiosity rather than fear. Over the next few days, he shared his knowledge of nature, teaching children and adults about the plants, animals, and the importance of environmental stewardship. Ilara organized community activities based on Laren's guidance. They planted trees, created gardens, and established rituals to honor the changing seasons. The villagers began to see the forest not just as a resource but as a partner in their well-being. One evening, as the community gathered around the eternal flame, Laren spoke to everyone. "Our actions affect more than just ourselves," he said. "By living in harmony with nature, we strengthen the bonds among us and with the world." The flame flickered brightly, casting a warm glow over the attentive faces. Ilara felt a surge of hope. The final piece of unity was falling into place. With Laren's inclusion, the village's transformation was complete. The eternal flame burned steadily, a symbol of the restored balance between the people and their environment. The dark omens vanished, replaced by bountiful harvests and thriving wildlife. Ilara realized that true unity required embracing all members of the community, including those who walk different paths. By reaching out to Laren, she not only fulfilled the prophecy but also enriched the village with new perspectives and wisdom. Luminara was now more connected than ever, ready to face the future with a shared spirit and a deep respect for the world they called home. With Laren now part of their efforts, Ilara felt they were nearing the heart of the mystery. One quiet evening, she and Laren sat by the glowing embers of a small fire on the edge of the village. "There's something different about the way you speak of the eternal flame," Ilara said thoughtfully. "Do you know more than we've realized?" Laren gazed into the flickering light. "The flame is more than a symbol," he replied. "It's a reflection of our collective spirit, the unity between the villagers and the harmony with the land." Ilara's eyes widened. "You mean its strength depends on us being truly connected?" He nodded. "When divisions grow and people isolate themselves, the flame weakens. It's not about physical acts but the bonds of understanding and empathy among all of us." She considered his words. "So, all my efforts to connect with everyone were steps in the right direction, but we need to go further." "Exactly," Laren agreed. "We must unite not just individually but as a whole community, embracing both each other and the natural world." Ilara felt a surge of hope. "How can we do that?" "There is an ancient ceremony, a ritual of unity, that can help," Laren explained. "It involves every member of the village coming together with a shared purpose." She smiled. "Then let's bring everyone together and perform this ritual during the Festival of Light." Over the next few days, Ilara and Laren shared this plan with the villagers. Excitement grew as they prepared for the ceremony, each person eager to contribute. They crafted small tokens representing their personal commitments to unity and harmony. As the festival approached, the village buzzed with renewed energy. Ilara felt the weight lifting from her shoulders. With this new understanding, they had a real chance to restore the eternal flame and secure their future. The stage was set for a transformative event that would bring the entire village together like never before. The Festival of Light had finally arrived, and excitement buzzed throughout Luminara. Ilara and Laren stood side by side in the village square, ready to lead the ritual of unity. "Tonight, we come together as one," Ilara announced, her voice clear. "Each of us holds a piece of the harmony we seek." Villagers gathered around the eternal flame, which flickered with renewed vitality. Everyone carried a small token, a symbol of their personal commitment to unity and goodwill. One by one, they stepped forward. Thomas placed a loaf of freshly baked bread. "May we always share our abundance," he said. Daniel offered a woolen scarf. "Let warmth and comfort surround us all." Sophia added a handcrafted lantern. "May our collective light guide us through any darkness." As each person contributed, The flame grew steadier, its glow intensifying. Laren then spoke softly. Close your eyes and envision the connections between us. Feel the strength we possess when we stand together. A gentle breeze swept through the square, and the eternal flame flared brightly. The villagers opened their eyes to see the flame burning stronger than ever, its light casting a warm glow over every face. Cheers erupted. Laughter and joyful tears mingled as people embraced one another. The barriers that once divided them had vanished. Ilara felt a surge of happiness. Our unity has rekindled the flame, she said. Together, we've restored balance to Luminara. The celebration continued with music, dancing, and shared feasts. The village was alive with hope and camaraderie. By uniting their hearts and honoring both each other and the world around them, the people of Luminara had forged a new beginning, one where harmony reigned and the future shone brightly. The night of the Festival of Light had finally arrived. The village square was adorned with colorful banners and lanterns, casting a warm glow over the excited faces of the villagers. Ilara and Laren stood before the eternal flame, which now burned steadily, its glow promising hope. Tonight, we complete our journey toward harmony, Ilara declared. We will perform the ritual of unity to solidify the bonds we've created. Each villager held a small candle, unlit but ready. Laren stepped forward. These candles represent our individual spirits, he said. When combined, they will illuminate our path forward. Ilara began lighting her candle from the eternal flame. She turned and lit the candles of those nearest to her. One by one, the light spread throughout the crowd until every candle was aglow. Let our shared light symbolize our unity, Ilara said, her voice carrying across the silent crowd. At that moment, a gentle breeze swept through the square, but instead of extinguishing the flames, it seemed to make them dance brighter. The villagers felt a collective sense of peace and connection. Together, they placed their candles around the base of the eternal flame, creating a radiant circle of light. The flame surged, shining more brilliantly than ever before. The eternal flame recognizes our unity, Laren announced. Our village is whole once more. Cheers and applause erupted. Music filled the air as people embraced, laughed, and celebrated. The atmosphere was electric with joy and relief. Ilara looked around, her heart full. The divisions that once separated them were gone. The prophecy had been fulfilled not through her solitary actions but through the collective effort of everyone. As the festivities continued late into the night, the villagers of Luminara knew that they had not only saved their home but had laid the foundation for a brighter future together. With the ritual of unity complete, Luminara flourished like never before. The fields yielded abundant harvest, the animals thrived, and the eternal flame burned with a steady brilliance that warmed every heart. The villagers moved through their days with renewed joy, their connections deepened by shared experiences and mutual respect. Amidst this revitalized spirit, Ilara and Laren found themselves drawn closer together. Their collaboration had not only healed the village but also kindled a special bond between them. They spent hours walking through the forest, sharing dreams and discovering common interest. One sunny afternoon by the river, Laren turned to Ilara with a gentle smile. "You've opened my eyes to the beauty of community," he said. "I never imagined feeling so connected to others." Ilara returned his smile. "And you've taught me the profound importance of our relationship with nature. Together, we've brought balance to Luminara." Their friendship blossomed into love, a development that brought joy to the villagers. Word of their relationship spread, and the community embraced it wholeheartedly. People saw their union as a symbol of the harmony they had all worked to achieve. Breaking from old conventions, the elders gave their blessings without hesitation. "Your partnership reflects the unity of our village," one elder said warmly. "May it inspire others to open their hearts." Preparations for Ilara and Lauren's wedding began, becoming a communal effort filled with excitement. Everyone contributed. Thomas baked a magnificent cake, Sophia crafted delicate decorations, and children gathered flowers from the meadows. The wedding day arrived, bathed in golden sunlight. The entire village gathered beneath the ancient oak tree, its branches stretching wide as if to shelter the celebration. Ilara wore a simple yet elegant gown, and Laren stood beside her, his eyes filled with happiness. As they exchanged vows, the eternal flame flickered with extraordinary brightness, casting a radiant glow over the gathering. It was as if the very spirit of Luminara rejoiced with them. The celebration that followed was filled with music, dancing, and heartfelt speeches. Villagers laughed and shared stories, grateful for the unity that now defined their lives. Ilara and Lauren's love story became a cherished part of Luminara's history, a testament to the power of understanding, acceptance, and the bonds that hold communities together. Their union marked not just the beginning of their life together but also the continuation of the harmony that will sustain the village for generations to come. The days following Ilara and Lauren's wedding were filled with a renewed sense of purpose in Luminara. The villagers, inspired by their leaders' union, continued to nurture the harmony they had established. Community projects flourished, new schools were built, communal gardens expanded, and festivals became more vibrant, celebrating not just traditions but the shared bonds among everyone. Ilara and Laren took active roles in guiding the village forward. They established open forums where any villager could voice ideas and concerns. Decisions were made collectively, fostering a sense of ownership and responsibility in the community's future. One sunny morning, as Ilara walked through the bustling market square, she noticed the joyful interactions among the people. Children laughed as they played, artisans shared their crafts, and neighbors exchanged goods with smiles and gratitude. Laren joined her, carrying a basket of fresh fruits. "It's incredible how far we've come," he remarked. She nodded. "The unity we've achieved is our greatest strength. Luminara is more than just a village now, it's a family." News of Luminara's harmony spread to neighboring communities. Visitors came to learn from their experiences, eager to bring similar unity to their own villages. Ilara and Laren welcomed them warmly, sharing the principles that had guided their transformation. One evening, the village gathered around the eternal flame for a special ceremony. Ilara addressed the crowd, her eyes shining with pride. "We stand here not just as individuals but as a united whole. Our journey shows that when we embrace understanding and work together, there's no limit to what we can achieve." An elder stepped forward. "Your leadership has shown us the true meaning of community. We are grateful." Laren added, "Remember, the flame will continue to burn brightly as long as we keep our hearts connected and remain stewards of both our relationships and our environment." As the stars twinkled above, the villagers celebrated with music and dance. The sense of joy was palpable, a testament to the lasting impact of their collective efforts. Ilara looked around, her heart full. "This is the beginning of a new chapter for Luminara," she said softly to Laren. He smiled. "And we'll face whatever the future holds together." Hand in hand, they joined the celebration, confident that the unity they had built would sustain Luminara for generations to come. With unity woven into the fabric of daily life, Luminara blossomed like never before. The villagers moved forward together, their hearts aligned and their spirits high. Ilara and Lauren's leadership continued to inspire, serving as a living reminder of what could be achieved through understanding and cooperation. Ilara's journey taught a powerful lesson: true connection comes from empathy and the willingness to reach out, even when it's challenging. By embracing every member of her village, including those who felt isolated, she helped heal divisions and sparked a transformation that went beyond traditions. The story of Luminara reminds us that when people come together with open hearts, they can overcome any obstacle. It's a testament to the strength found in community and the positive change that grows from genuine relationships. As we reflect on Ilara's tale, let's consider how we might bring unity into our own lives. Sometimes, a simple act of reaching out can ignite a spark that illuminates the path toward a brighter, more connected future for all. Thank you for being part of Ilara's remarkable story. Her journey reminds us that empathy and connection can truly change the world around us. If her tale touched your heart, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories. Don't forget to tap the notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure about how a single act of kindness transformed an entire city.